Hello, doctor. How are you doing?
I'm well, Mr. Neta. How are you today?
No, I'm not too bad. Aside of these technical difficulties, I'm
Yeah,
fantastic. I'm fantastic. Apologies
awesome.
to our audience. I think we've had a bit of a problem there. We had a technical glitch. We had to go out and then come back in again. But I hope that that didn't disturb your program a lot because it was only about 5 minutes. We are back in now, speaking to Dr. Wilbert Mutoko. Sir, I'd like to appreciate you for coming through and thank you so much for answering the call. All I need today is to really learn from you. I'm learning, and I'm sure that a lot of people are going to learn as well, because the topic that we're going to be discussing today is very deep, and it's something that a lot of people do not really understand, including myself. And I'd like us to go deeper into it so that we'd understand what exactly it means. Before I introduce the topic, I'd like you, sir, to introduce yourself. I know you're Dr. Wilbert Mutoko, but I know a bit, but a lot of people might not know you. So please go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Neta. Highly appreciated, and thank you for having me. And I would like to welcome our audience. Thank you for coming through. We have an exciting topic. We are talking about emotional intelligence. Wilbert is my name. I'm a village boy. Something very common between the two of us, Mr. Neta and I, are village boys.
Yes, we are. We're very proud.
We walked several kilometers going to school. I was reading your history, Mr. Neta, and it excited me. I say, this man, you went through what I went through.
Thank you so much. I like that. It's relatable.
Yeah, very much relatable. So yes, I love empowering people. That's what excites me. That's what I live to do. I'm an author, I'm a speaker, I'm an executive coach, and of course, I'm a strategist. I help entrepreneurs to do the best that they can with the potentials that they have. Yeah, and we are here. One of the things that I've done is that I've written 4 self-help books, and I'm currently writing another one, which should be out by mid-June, and it's called Emotional Intelligence and Team Alignment. So it is very much aligned to what we are talking about today. Emotional intelligence will be my 5th book. The first 3 that I wrote were on finance. 1 is on relationships, and then this 5th one will be on emotional intelligence.
Fantastic. That's packed. That's packed. That I wish I could be half as you. I'm not even a quarter.
You are very advanced.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yes. I appreciate that. So yeah. I've been reading a lot about you, sir. And there's a lot of interesting things that you're doing. And one of the things that I'd like to know more about, and why your inclination towards public speaking, and why your inclination towards knowledge, team building, and stuff like that. There's quite a lot. There's quite a lot that is going on in the world at the moment, and there is a lot of uptake of information. Now, when you're talking of uptake of information, you're talking of things like we've got social media platforms, the likes of Facebook and so on and so forth. All these people are gathering a lot of information at an unprecedented pace. Now, why is it that you decided to sort of get into an area which you are, which is mostly public speaking, and sort of enriching people with information? What can you say about the choice that you've made to go in that area, basically?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Neta, for asking that. So for me, sharing information has always been my passion. And speaking and empowering people comes naturally, and I love it. That's what I would want to do for the rest of my life. Even when I'm no longer in active work, I still want to be able to speak to people, encourage people, inspire people, empower people, train people, mentor people, because I believe that's the purpose that I was born for.
That's something that I relate to as well, because I feel like there is a lot of us doing almost something similar. but information that is being churned out, coming back to what I've just asked you, is it something that's enriching? Is it something that is empowering? Is this information really something that we need? You know, we need to be in a position where we have to be able to differentiate information. Is this information helpful or is it not? You know, just drawing that line is very, very difficult for a lot of people now. Now we're talking of millennials. We've got a lot of all these other, you know, social media platforms exchanging all the information. But what makes you think that it is, I mean, what makes you think would be the best option for the young millennials to be able to pick the information? What's in fact, to rephrase my question properly, because this is a very difficult one. What I've realized is young millennials are finding it very difficult to pick the right information that they can use to enrich themselves. The information that they are picking now, it can be poisonous, it can be so dangerous, which is detrimental to life. Coming back to maybe a topic that we'll discuss at some point in the future, which is to do with millennial suicide because of social interactions on various social media platforms. Now, how do people choose the right information? I think this is how I wanted to rephrase it. How do people choose the best information that will be helpful for them? How do you advise people?
It's not an easy one. Okay, so what I would say to people is, it depends on what you are trying to achieve. If you want to be average, majority of people on earth are either average or below average. If you want to become great and you want to make sure by the time you leave this world, you will have left a mark, then you need to go for information that only 5 to 10% of the world's population look for. But if you like a lot of fun, a lot of, you know, just spending time without really taking time seriously, then you're going to be average or below average. But otherwise, if you really want your life to count, such that even when you are gone, generations to come will still be talking about you because of the impact you will have made, then you need to seek information that is useful, that can change your life and that can change other people's lives as well.
That brings me down to the topic for today. That brings me down to the subject of emotional intelligence.
Right.
And I just wanted you to sort of explain that before we get into the topic, because if you look at it, there is need for emotional intelligence for people to be able to understand the kind of information that they choose to keep and that they choose to cut, right?
Right.
So before we even dig deeper into the subject matter, can you please maybe describe, for those people that don't understand what emotional intelligence is, to maybe get a little bit of a glimpse of what we're going to be discussing about today?
Thank you, Mr. Netta. I will give you a story there.
Great.
Right. True life story. One great man was traveling, and he happened to be at a very big airport. While he was at the airport, unknown to him, somebody really hated him with a passion.
Wow.
So this man who hated the great man with a passion just got face to face with this great man and spat on his face.
Wow.
Now, my question to the audience is, if you were him, what were you going to do? Please kindly type in the comment section on Facebook. Let's know what you would do. Just be honest with yourself. Just be sincere with yourself. You are at an airport or you are in a public place where you expect to be honored, you expect to be respected, and somebody spits on your face. What will happen?
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. I really need to hear the responses, you know, from our audiences.
Yeah.
I think our video is stuck, but we can still, you know, our audio is okay.
Okay.
So maybe it'll pick up, but I can hear you properly. You can hear me properly, so we can just continue. That's fine.
Okay.
I would love to hear what the audience would say to that. But
Yes.
From my own perspective,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm a respectable person,
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the public,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody spits on my face, and I haven't actually done anything to this person.
Right.
The first thing that I would do is to really ask myself a question: why that it happened?
Why? Right.
Why? That's the question that I'll ask first. But then this question will be directed maybe to that person. But I'll then have to ask myself that same question as well to say why. Because my why is, why did you do that? Then my other why would be, why did it happen to me? So those are the two things, or a reaction that would come from me if that happens to me.
Right. Interesting. Thank you so much. So you would want to know why.
I would like to know why.
So I don't know whether some people have responded. Yeah. I have asked this question a few times when I talk about emotional intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the common responses are that this man who's pet would require a big slap. And then my question would be, if you slap him, what do you think will happen? Because he was ready for you and you were not ready for him.
Wow.
Have you asked yourself, how many are these people? How long have they been organizing this?
Wow.
So emotional intelligence is the ability to manage our own emotions and the emotions of other people.
Our own and the emotions of others.
The ability to manage my emotions and the emotions of other people around me. Right. And I think that's what makes it a bit more difficult, because just managing my emotions is not easy. What about managing other people's emotions? I'll give you another example while hopefully we are waiting for the audience to respond.
Yes.
A guy was driving. It was peak hour and he was with his friend. Then this other driver comes from nowhere and is disturbing this guy who has his friend in the car. And the guy who is wrong is also the one who is shouting and blaming the other driver.
Right.
So what does the guy who is the driver who was not wrong? He didn't say anything. He didn't do anything. He continued driving calmly. So as he drove calmly, what happens? What happened was that the other person who was with the friend in the car, he asked a question. He said, how come you did not react? How come you did not say anything? And he said, no, I did not have to say anything, because people are carrying excess baggage. Some people are carrying loads of rubbish, and I will not allow them to dump their rubbish in my heart.
Wow. That's powerful.
So, yes. So it's not easy, because all of us have got an ego. All of us want to be felt that I'm here, I've arrived. And when somebody does something to us, we want to be quick to act. But sometimes we do it without thinking. Right. There are a few people, I guess, in the world who are intelligent. We call, when you are sharp, we call you intelligent. But rather what we are talking about there is mental intelligence. Then there is spiritual intelligence. Then there is emotional intelligence, right? So you can actually be very intelligent intellectually, but emotionally, you're not good.
Wow.
And I can tell you, Mr. Netta, and our audience, that many years ago, I used to be proud of being short-tempered. I was proud of it. Until one time, through personal development and learning and trying to grow, I realized that no, there was nothing special about being short-tempered. Everybody has a temper. It's just that some people know how to control theirs.
Wow. You know, that's a
so
very,
I realized,
very powerful.
yeah, I realized I did not have to be proud of short temper. I had to be ashamed of it and start working on it. So remember, when we say emotions, we have positive emotions and we have negative emotions. For now, all the stories that I've given, they are sort of lined towards negative emotions, because usually negative emotions are the ones that put us in trouble.
True, true.
But otherwise, happiness is an emotion. Sadness is an emotion. Bitterness is an emotion. Anger is an emotion. Being highly elated, like you don't know how to control yourself. You make noise because maybe you have won a lottery or something. It could annoy other people. You are failing to manage your emotions and the emotions of other people.
Wow. Yeah. So if I may ask a quick question. I don't know, is my video okay on that end?
Yes, I can see you very well.
Okay, so it's just the glitch on my phone, that's fine. Emotional intelligence, when we are looking at it in that perspective that you just described, how do you sort of, how does it relate to an environment? Because when you say that, you have to be self-aware, or you have to be aware of your emotions and the emotions of people around you. That means that there is an environmental factor that's affecting you for you to be able to make certain decisions.
Right.
How is it related to an environment that you're in?
Excellent.
Does it influence the making of the making of decisions? Does it have any effect to it at all?
Thank you so much for that. So self-awareness is probably the foundation of emotional intelligence.
Okay.
It's a component of emotional intelligence. Some people, those who love maths, they would say it's a subset of emotional intelligence.
Okay.
So self-awareness, the way I would define it is being able to align my thoughts, my emotions, and my actions,
right,
with my inner values, with what I believe. Aligning my thoughts, my emotions, and my actions to my values. What do I value? So checking myself regularly to say, how good am I doing in terms of the way I am thinking, the way I am showing my emotions, and the way I am acting as I compare that to my values. It does not necessarily have anything to do with other people. Yes, it's important. You know, when we talk of emotional intelligence at large, we are also talking of managing other people's emotions. But when we talk of self-awareness, we are talking of me. Another way of defining self-awareness is just to say, knowing and understanding myself.
Huh. That's deep. This is deep. I wasn't prepared for this. I wasn't prepared for this. This is so deep. If you try to think about it, if I can jump in there.
Yeah, yeah.
If you think of a person as an individual, Tendai as an individual,
right.
Dr. Mutoko as an individual.
Yes.
When we are walking around, when we are sitting about, our actions affect each and every single person around us.
Yeah.
So basically, when you are emotionally intelligent, you are self-aware of the environment, you are self-aware, and you're also aware of the environment that you're in. That whatever you're doing, whatever the actions whatever your actions, the actions that you have, or the actions that you might be putting yourself through, could have a detrimental effect, or could have a very positive impact on the people around you and the environment around you. When you're talking of an environment, we're talking of things that surround you. It doesn't really mean that it's supposed to be a person. It can be anything. So your environment, you're supposed to be responsible for the environment if you're emotionally intelligent. Someone who is not emotionally intelligent is not responsible for the environment. That also includes other people. Am I right to put it across that way?
Yes. Very correct.
Because
you see, it's very easy to think that.
I just wanted to jump in there with I was talking to my wife the other day when we were driving. I was saying that, whenever you're driving, you're also driving other people's cars.
Oh yes.
Your responsibility and self-awareness. You are there to sort of control yourself and control other people's cars. You read the indications, whether this person wants to come in front, whether this person is slow, whether this person is fast, and you sort of regulate your speed based on what other people are doing. So basically, you're actually driving on behalf of them as well. So that's being, emotionally intelligent. Is that one? Is that example?
Yes.
Correct as well.
It's a very good example of emotional intelligence.
Wow.
Actually, talking of driving, you are reminding me of something that once happened. In the past, if I was driving in the fast lane and somebody is slow, I would either flash them with the lights to move over to the slow lane, or maybe I hoot, because other people do so. So imagine you are in a hurry and maybe you are in a lane of 120 and somebody is just moving at 60 or at 40. So you want to communicate to them to say, no, move this way. So one day it happened very early in the morning and I was rushing somewhere. I was running. I was supposed to go and meet some people for some business that we were supposed to do. And I was in full speed, Mr. Netta. I will never do that again.
Yeah.
I was in full speed. I was driving over 100 what? Is it kilometers per hour?
100 kilometers per hour. Not 100 meters, 100 kilometers.
100 kilometers per hour. Over 100 kilometers per hour. And this man was in front of me and he was slow. So I flashed him. You know what he did? He stepped on the harsh brake. In front of me.
He missed the signal.
I think he was full up with his own issues. So he thought, okay, you are flashing me. Now we want to see what you are going to do. Now hit me from the back and we'll see what happens.
Wow.
Those are emotions. So it means following what you were saying as an example of driving, that I'm driving my car, but I'm also driving other people's cars. If I had been considerate, because almost everybody you meet, Mr. Netta, is going through something.
And that's true. That's very true.
So you could trigger things that you don't want to see again. So I could, and I'm grateful that God helped me and I also pressed the harsh brake. And I prayed, I say, Lord, I'm sorry. I'll never flash anybody again. I was taught it the hard way by that man. Imagine I was going to hit him. And when you hit someone from the back, you are in serious trouble.
That's automatically
serious.
It's automatically your problem. Yeah.
Yes. So I triggered the wrong emotions on that man. And I didn't know what he was going through. And see what I almost put myself into.
Wow. And it actually eases me into this question as well. You know, whilst we're having this discussion, I'm having also my thoughts, you know, to say, okay, I'm learning, like I told you, that I'm learning about this subject. And I really need to understand. I cannot let you go before I really understand the subject myself. So I'm just thinking that, you know, it could have been another different reason why that person had to stop.
Okay. It's possible.
Maybe they were dazzled by the light.
Probably.
Or maybe they thought that maybe it's a warning. You're just warning them to slow down. There must be some obstruction in front of them. Maybe they were just, you know, obstructed with phones or something like that. It could have been anything.
Yes. Very possible.
So at the end of the day, we as human beings, I think, when we are aware of ourselves, aware of the environment, emotionally intelligent, we're able to react in a certain way just to respond to whatever it is that has been given to us. Yes. So that then eases me to another question about how do we develop self-awareness as individuals? Because I find it very difficult when other people are doing things that are untoward. You tend to wonder, is this person really okay in the head? That makes me feel or think that maybe some people are not self-aware. Is that correct to say that?
Yes, very true. So I'm glad to see on the screen a message from my brother Dr. Mutoko there. He says, watching from Johannesburg. Welcome, my brother. God bless you.
Thanks, brother Bevan. Thank you.
Yes, so talking about self-awareness, Mr. Netta, it doesn't just come. It doesn't just come. For you to be able to know yourself and understand yourself and understand your emotions, so that you can be able to understand other people's emotions. It doesn't just come. So it begins with a quest in the heart to want to know, why am I on this earth? So it begins with self-identity. Who am I? What am I here on earth to do? When I leave this world, what am I going to be congratulated for? In my book, 15 Secrets for Personal Financial Success, is the first book that I wrote. In chapter 2, there is somewhere where I talk about the importance of the day that I will leave this world. And one of the things that I want people to say on that day, when I die, I'm not dying, I'm resting, I'm transcending to a better world. And I don't want anybody to cry tears of regret. I want people to celebrate. A life well lived, a full life, a man who went all out on a daily basis, 24/7, 24/7, to try and touch lives.
Wow.
So once you discover your purpose, you have your self-identity, then the next thing is you are going to set boundaries for yourself. What are the things that I will never do? And what are the things that I will definitely do?
Right.
For example, somebody might see some of us married today, happily married, and they think it just happened. No, it didn't just happen. It was planned. We have worked for it and we continue working for it. While I was a boy, I told myself, I think maybe I might be going the wrong direction now.
No, you're right. No. Go ahead. We just want to hear stories about your childhood.
Yeah, because you see, when you have discovered who you are and you know what you want to live for, you are not going to live your life anyhow. You are not going to allow yourself to play with this girl, play with that girl, play with people who don't have any direction. You see, you make sure you team up with people who are going somewhere.
Right.
Have you ever seen that if you are at the airport and you are surrounded by people that are not going and they dearly love you, some of them will be happy if you miss the plane.
The people that are not going.
Yes.
Like that.
If you tarry too much with people who are not going, who don't understand the big picture of what you are trying to do, they will be very excited if you fail to go.
Wow.
So I believe once you know your purpose, which is not easy, somebody is watching us right now and they are thinking, purpose, what's my purpose? You may not know your purpose exactly, but you need to strive, read books, watch videos, watch conversations like the one we are having right now, and change your network. You know, one of the books that really changed my life, it was written by a lady called Sally H. Host. Okay. If I Can, You Can. That book changed the way I looked at life. I'm a proper village boy. Grew up, you know, in the rural area, herding goats, herding cattle, running to school. Sometimes the shoes are torn. You just run. Sometimes we will fall down. It was bad. But it did not cause me to say I'm a good for nothing. I surrounded myself with aunties, and by God's grace, I listened to my parents. I have always believed that everybody needs mentors. Without mentors, you can go far. Because you see, when you have a mentor, you can just look at the way they are living their life. You have a mentor who has never womanized. If you start womanizing, who are you copying? So I believe self-awareness is something that you can learn from other people, either through reading their books or through face-to-face mentorship, and you also creating time to be quiet and thinking deeply about your life. What do you want to achieve?
This is a topic that hits hard. And the reason why I'm saying it hits hard is the fact that there's a lot of people that are out there and they don't really understand who they are, right? Yes. And what you just mentioned there to say, you don't, if I can, then you can, right?
Yes.
There's someone who's just putting themselves in front of you to say, my situation was bad than yours. But I managed to go through it, right?
Yes.
And it's like a look at me now kind of situation. Not because they're being proud, but they're saying that, you know, the scraps that you're going through now, they can actually change to something huge. You can actually become. You can become. If I became, you can also become. So basically, someone who is giving someone a motivational word to say, there's a possibility, or there's a whole world of possibilities out there. But you have to do one thing. And that one thing is to be emotionally intelligent. Be self-aware. Understanding who you are and where you want to go. Because really, where you want to go depends on where you're coming from and what changes are you willing to make.
Yes.
If I start making,
have you ever seen?
Yeah, go on.
Have you ever seen, Mr. Neta, that if we ask you right now, can you jump a wall that is 2 meters high? You might say, no, I was not a high jumper at school and all that. But do you know, if a lion or a bear or a vicious dog was chasing you, you will be shocked what you can do.
Wow.
You will skip 3 meters high.
Yes.
You can go over a river probably that is 5 meters wide. You just find yourself on the other side. Why? It's because of what is following you. So you and I, we know where we are coming from. And we also want to rescue other people. I looked at your story, my brother. I mean, by the grace of God, I have different people who say, I want to interview. But with the time, I have learned that I should not just accept every interview, because some people don't even, they don't even have self-awareness for themselves, let alone when they are interviewing you. You know, someone can actually say, I want to interview you, you schedule a day, and they don't show up. And they will never talk to you.
That's being disrespectful.
It has happened to me. It has happened to me.
That's not good.
So I have learned that, no, when I'm asking to be interviewed next time, I have to assess who is interviewing me, because I know who I am, and I need to know who is this person who wants to interview me. So you begin to surround yourself with people who are going somewhere, the same way that you are going somewhere.
No, you know, I appreciate you. You know, that coming from you is very humbling. And you know what? One other thing, Doc, that I would like to ask you. You know, we've got loads of people that we do interview on this channel, and most of it is just elevating each other. We're just trying to build each other. All right. And one of the questions that I ask people is, would you be willing to mentor people that are struggling, right? Maybe it could be self-awareness, for example. And I know this is what you do, but I'll ask the question anyway. Are you willing to mentor people that are struggling with their emotions?
I am, but with conditions, because I have wasted my life in the past. Yeah.
Yes.
I've wasted my life in the past. You know, for me, if somebody says they want to be mentored by me, not that there's something special about me, but the little that I know or the little I've experienced, whoever says they want to be mentored, they have to go through tests. Very simple tests. Because you see, it's easy for someone to say, this person is my mentor. This person is, there are people who go around, Dr. Mutoko is my mentor. They have never read my book. When I post on social media, they never comment. They've never had a face-to-face with me.
Yeah.
They are not doing anything with me. They are trying to help themselves to move faster by lying to people that they are being mentored by Dr. Mutoko. It's simple things that cause somebody to be accepted, whether to be mentored. And if you ask, I mean, yourself, Mr. Neta, I'm sure you have seen it. It's painful to try and give time to people, and people take you for granted. I'll give you a simple example. So one time, somebody really bothered me, and I gave them a chance. And we said, okay, let's meet at Grand Palm Hotel in Gaborone, right? So for me, time is everything. Time is life. Yeah. If we agree that we are meeting at 1 p.m., by 1:45, I'm already there. Because I know where I'm going with my life, and I'm not going to drag your life. So if you want to be mentored by me, or you want to be my friend, or you want to do business with me, then you gotta be serious.
Be serious. Yeah.
I get to the place, Mr. Neta, you can't believe it. I get to the place 15 minutes early. 30 minutes later, the person is not there.
Wow.
What did I do? I left. An hour later, this guy is calling. Hey, Dr. Mutoko, I've just arrived now. You know what happens with such people. It's over, and it's over. No explanation. Because at least you could have sent a message. Because I even sent the messages when I was waiting. How far are you? No, I'm on my way. I'm on my way. I'm on my way. So who has time for such a person? I'm not saying they are a bad person. I'm sure somebody else can mentor them, and they will do well together.
I like that. I like that. This is self-actualization.
Right? Yeah.
It's self-awareness. You know exactly who you are. You know what you want to surround yourself with. And you don't want anyone to waste your time. And this is critical.
No.
Now that makes me want to get to another question, which is, we've spoken about emotional intelligence. We've spoken about self-awareness. How does this tie onto business? We're talking of entrepreneurs or people that are hoping to become an entrepreneur. They're self-aware. They know that they want to be entrepreneurs. But then how does emotional intelligence tie into that?
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. So emotional intelligence is a very broad subject because you are talking of self-awareness, you are talking of empathy, you are talking of social skills. There's quite a bit we are talking about there when we talk of emotional intelligence. It also touches on self-esteem.
Right.
So what I would say to entrepreneurs is, as if you cannot work on your emotional intelligence, if you don't grow emotionally, then business is not easy.
No.
Statistics tell us that 9 out of 10 businesses fail. Some will say in the first 1 year, some will say in the first 5 years, whatever years they talk about. But we can see that the statistics are not positive. So that alone by yourself, before you hire anyone, just to be in business and how stressful it can be.
Wow.
You could easily develop depression and high blood pressure and all kinds of things because you are just trying to grow the business. We are not talking of your employees here. And many people, I've heard people who say, I want to start my own business so that I can be my own boss, so that I can work the time that I want. Oh, really? You need to, you and I are entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Last night I slept 4 hours. I haven't yet gotten time to doze throughout the day. It's not healthy for me. I'm an entrepreneur, but I have to work. Yes. I must work. We must work.
We must work.
It means if you are going to make it as an entrepreneur, you cannot afford to say, I want to just work any time that I want. If employees work 8 hours a day, for you as an entrepreneur, you must work 18 hours a day or 16. If you are a bit lazy, 16.
It's twice as much.
Otherwise, nothing is going to work. So emotional intelligence is important because remember, you deal with suppliers. You are saying you don't want to work with a boss. Your new boss is called customer. And customers come in different packages.
And that's the most difficult boss.
The most difficult boss.
Yeah.
Yeah. So emotional intelligence is very key. And if you are going to be successful as an entrepreneur, it means you must build a team. If you don't build a team, you're a small businessman. You are not an entrepreneur. You need to be able to build a team. How do you build a team? You need emotional intelligence. You need to manage your emotions, whether positive or negative emotions, and then manage your team's emotions as well. Then you manage your suppliers' emotions. You manage your customers' emotions. Like they always say, customer is always right. It's easier said than done, Mr. Neta. You know, some customers are just completely impossible, but you have to.
Yeah. you just have to do it. You just have to do it. You know what you just said there, Doctor. I think I appreciate that a lot. And the reason why I appreciate that a lot is because I think I'm also a culprit when it comes to building teams or just some of the things that do happen with customers and with people around you, especially when you're trying to build a business. There's a flare of emotions in most cases, and sometimes you feel like giving up. Giving up is an emotion, right?
Yeah.
That could have been triggered by something. It could have been maybe one employee. It could be anything. It could be even a customer.
Yes.
Or one of your long leads just decided to bail on you, and you just feel like I can't do this anymore.
Right.
When it comes to that, especially if you're an entrepreneur, I've seen a lot of motivational sort of quotes saying that don't give up, all right, with a bit of sugar on them. But I just wanted to understand, really don't give up. What does that mean? What does don't give up really mean when it comes to your emotions? Right. Am I allowed to be emotional, or am I not allowed
definitely.
to be emotional? Am I allowed to? Go ahead and answer this.
We are all humans, Mr. Neta, and it's okay to be emotional, but we must be calculative. We must calculate. After I take this step, what's next? So when I do executive coaching with directors and CEOs, and sometimes I'm invited to do conflict resolutions in firms, one of the things I've seen is that CEOs, they are just human beings. And being a CEO, especially of a medium or large enterprise, can be very difficult because you end up being alone. It's a lonely journey. So you realize that people want to please you. When they see you, they pretend like they love you, they care about you. When you pass by, they start talking about you. They talk bad things about you. They backbite you, and you are alone. And one of the things that CEOs do is that they make decisions without thinking sometimes. Let me give you a simple example that I've seen that happens. So, Mr. Neta, you are a CEO, you're running your company, and one of your employees does something that really angers you, and you fire them on the spot. This is my company. Who do you think you are? Out of my company. Maybe HR department will try to talk to you. You say, hey, be careful also. You can follow. Now, legally speaking, we know what that does. If you fire someone without verbal warnings and written warnings, what's going to happen to you? They will take you to labor.
Yeah.
They will sue you. Yeah. So we see government departments paying millions every year. We see large enterprises led by smart CEOs paying millions because there was a lack of emotional intelligence in one or two decisions.
Wow.
So it's important for us to take time and realize that, yes, you might be a director, you might be a manager, you might be a good employee, you might be the CEO, you might be an independent entrepreneur because you are quite sharp. That's good. But try to be sharp emotionally as well.
You know what, Doc? I would have loved for us to spend even 2 hours, 3 hours discussing emotional intelligence. Right. And I know that a lot of people that are on the audience, they've actually learned a thing or two. I just feel sorry for people that did not manage to join us, because this is very important. It's a very, very important subject that every single person who wants to be an entrepreneur, or just just for you to live on a daily basis, we must be aware of a thing called emotional intelligence, how it affects us, how it affects people around us, and how it actually affects the environment in which we live in.
Yes.
So thank you so much for coming through. Now, I would like to ask you, I think, 2 more questions before you leave. You told us that you've got a book that's coming, and you've got some books that you've written. Can you please tell us the titles of these books and where can we find them if we want to buy them, please?
Okay, so thank you for that. The first one is called 15 Secrets for Personal Financial Success. And the second one is called 16 Mistakes Singles Make, Volume 1.
Okay.
And the third one is called What You Have Is Enough.
Right.
It's more of a business finance book that helps startups. But I was surprised that even multimillionaires have a lot of testimonies after reading that book, What You Have Is Enough. And then the fourth one is called Financial Freedom. Okay. And the fifth one that should come out next month by the 15th of June It should be out because I'm speaking at a Pan-African Speakers Convention, and I want to ensure that by the time I speak there, the book will already be out. So that book is called Emotional Intelligence and Team Alignment.
Wow, right.
Yes.
I'm mostly interested in every single book.
That's very funny. I thought you were going to say I'm mostly interested in this particular book.
No. In every single one of them. Where can we find them? Where can we buy them?
Okay. At the moment, we have them in bookshops in Botswana, but we have been shipping across the world, and we are working towards putting them on Amazon. I think when we put them on Amazon, it will be easier. But for now, if somebody really wants them, we can ship them wherever they are in the world.
Fantastic. So this also brings me to, we've got we're launching a new e-commerce website very shortly. I think it will be in August. So we're launching it end of August.
Right.
And one of our main concentration areas is to make sure that all the authors on the African continent are able to sell their books on that platform.
That's
so
excellent.
We're creating that because in most cases, I realize that we've got lots of people that write books. They take their first batch of orders, they put them in the house, and they're not sold.
Right.
Because maybe their network is quite small, and it's very difficult for them to distribute them. But once we have that launched, we'll have we need to have every single author on the African continent. We need to have all those books on that platform. So we might need to stock your books as well. No, congratulations to you. You congratulate us once we finish and once we launch this website.
No, you see, we must celebrate the journey. When you are traveling, you don't celebrate when you arrive. You must enjoy the whole journey.
That's the reason why I stop at McDonald's at each and every single every single turn I'm stopping at McDonald's. So no, thank you so much. What I'll do is if we finish this, I'll then have to put your details where they can find the books on Facebook. Maybe you can share it as well on your platform as well, so that people might know where to get these books, because we need to sell them. People need the knowledge, and you've got the knowledge that I need to grow. And I hope that everybody else who is listening as well would actually attest to this. Now, having said that, you also do coaching. Can you maybe elaborate on that before we leave, so that maybe somebody on here might be interested in wanting to attend one of your trainings?
Thank you very much, Mr. Neta, for that. So I do mainly executive coaching, whereby I work with CEOs, I work with directors. In a few cases, I work with some people who want to be promoted in their workplace. They want to grow. So what I do is I help leaders to develop particularly their presentation skills, and in some cases to develop their emotional intelligence. It just depends. But most of it is for executive coaching. But once in a while, I also have people who just want general business coaching, and some come for financial wellness coaching. But most of what we do at Success Training Africa is that we are strategists. We help companies, we help them to do market surveys, to do business surveys, things like environmental scans. Then after that, we help them to craft their strategy, or to review their strategy, or to refresh their strategy. That's most of what we do on the strategy area. But in some cases, it actually begins as coaching, then it goes into consulting.
So, thank you so much, Doc. I do appreciate you. And thank you, everybody, for attending this. And I'm sure it could be maybe a week or two before I have you back here. We need you back. We need you back. We've got a lot of things that we might need to discuss. We've got lots of topics that are hot right now. when it comes to business, when it comes to, you know, self-awareness and so on and so forth. So I will invite you at some point, if you don't mind, for you to come, and then we can have a discussion around those topic areas. I've got them. I just don't want to, you know, to say them now. But there's loads of them which I know that, you know, you're suitable. You're the right man to come and discuss this. So thank you so much, and thank you so much to our audience. We appreciate you. That was Dr. Wilbert Mutoko. Go and check out his page, and also go and check Success Strategist Africa. Is it? That's
Success Training Africa.
Success Training Africa. And just send him an email if you want. The email is just at the banner below. His phone number is there as well. Go on his page, send him a message, do whatever to get reach of this man, because I think he's got the wisdom that will take you places if you really listen to his words. So I thank you, Doctor. Have a very good night, and thank you for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Neta, and thank you for all our audience for taking time out. God bless you.
Thank you. Have a good night. Bye-bye, everybody.
Okay, same to you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.